most important spiritual practice of our age is dancing and singing the names of God. Yoga Dharma. Yoga Dharma, Yoga Dharma. So that's what we do here. We have an interesting topic tonight. We have a question from our, what's your name?
Made a boo-boo. New ritual.
Everyone ready? So we have an interesting question for tonight. It's called, what are we doing here? Basically. What's the point? Why do we have these statues or deities here? What's the whole point of it? What's the why behind the why? What's the why behind the what we're doing here? So that's our topic for tonight. In the last few nights we've been talking about something very beautiful. My dear brother here, Vasanta Prabhu, we've been discussing the principle of the Guru, spiritual teacher, spiritual guide or master. It's been a very enlivening discussion for me personally. Very beautiful. It's a very important topic also, of course, right? We wouldn't be here without masters being here. What's the festival called?
Masters of Calm.
Recording too? Yeah. It's a little close now. I'm not wearing this. Give us hand to them.
Hat.
Good.
Hat.
All right. Why are we here? What's the festival called?
Masters.
Masters of Calm. Right? Calm is in Sanskrit. What do you say? Om Shanti. Right? Shanti means what?
Peace.
Peace. We got some Shanti beat going on in the back here. This means it's going to be a faster beat tonight here. Right, 2 nights ago we were doing class and it was pumping in the back with a little slower tempo. So I said, okay, you're prepping us, but you can hear the tempos going. All right, so
Challenge accepted.
challenge accepted. We're going to up the tempo here. Everyone is ready, all right? This is which night? How many nights we had so far? Since last, was it Friday or Saturday?
We had 5 already. 10 times.
Only 5?
All right,
Only
so
5.
we're coming into the, you could say,
It feels
in
like
American
5.
terms, it's like the 6th inning, right? Anyone play baseball here?
Yeah.
No? Basketball. All right. It's like almost the 4th quarter.
Almost the 4th quarter. End of the 3rd quarter.
End of the 3rd quarter. That means it's the time to show up,
Triples.
right? Let's take it into overtime, overdrive. All right? Thursday, today's Thursday, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 more nights of kirtan. Let's make them count. All right? Let's make it count. So, masters of calm. Calm is Shanti, peace. We've been talking about happiness also. How to become happy. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, without Shanti, you can't be happy. Really. Kuta Shantir Sukha. Without Shanti, how can you have Sukh or happiness? So masters of calm means, right, we're becoming more peaceful. Peace doesn't mean to be static or inactive. Life is activity. Life is motion. When we stop moving, we start dying. So that's why we're trying to become ecstatic. But we can be peaceful at the same time. Peace comes from within by knowing the self and God and your relationship with God. So that's why we're going to talk about what's it all about? Why are we here? Right? What's the reason for the whole song and dance? So I'll give a little invocation to our gurus and then we'll go into this topic, dive in. So we can sit and I'm going to do a brief invocation and we can all sit and try to achieve some inner peace so that we can hear from our masters, our teachers in this lineage about the purpose and meaning of life in this spiritual tradition, Bhakti Yoga. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah. Seva Kunje Braje Ramye Govardhane Giro Sada Radha Kundir Sanande Tat Seva Pradayakam Gurung Narayanakyam Tam Vande Vinoda Pristakam Yat Parasmriti Matrena Damodhara Prasiddhati Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayine Kalu Kalmasanasaya Janavapataye Namah. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratrishe Namah. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvam Nayamam Charanantike. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Guruji Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Samasta Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Thank you for your time. I want to offer a brief, you could say, mindset opportunity here, brief meditation. On openness to learning, sometimes from unexpected places. We're here at Masters of Calm, and we're learning from many different teachers. Sometimes we find teachers in places we wouldn't expect, from people we wouldn't expect. But for us to learn anything of value, We must be open to the experience. Our Srila Swami Prabhupada would call it, even in theory, in order to learn, you must be open to the idea of understanding. You can imagine the difference between a sponge and a rock. Water flows on both. The sponge absorbs, the rock doesn't absorb. So to absorb any teaching, we must be open to the idea of learning. Doesn't mean we have to accept it and follow it, but to be open, we can receive knowledge. And sometimes that knowledge will come from unexpected places. Why I say to be open is, generally in life, we've already made up our mind about many things. From our background, from education, from our learning. So we're not really open to new ideas. I know everything already, so I'm going to judge what I'm hearing according to what I know is right or wrong. I already know this is right, this is right, this is right. I have this path, and so, yeah, I'll hear as entertainment, but I'm not going to accept anything. So you don't have to accept anything. But in life, to grow, you have to learn new things or challenge yourself, do something different. So just be open to the process. That's our humble request. That's why we're here at Masters of Calm, to learn something different, to have a good experience and to learn something. Sometimes that comes from unexpected places. There's a story of a great king who was very curious, inquisitive. In our teaching in Vedantic literature, it says inquisitiveness or curiosity is very important for spiritual growth. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Now I shall inquire into the meaning of life, existence, the spirit, the self. In the West they say, curiosity killed the cat. But we say, we're all going to die anyway, so curiosity liberated the cat. Right? Inquiry liberated the cat, right? Learn, study, grow, adopt, practice. So once there was this king, and he was very curious about things. And he had his assembly of ministers, and he asked them, tell me, I see you, me, we're all here in the kingdom, and you all talk about God, 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 God. I'm sick and tired of hearing about God. Show me something real. Some food we grow and we eat. We drink water, we breathe the air. Where is this God you're talking about? God, 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 God. I'm sick and tired of hearing about God. Everyone's talking about God, and my God, and your God, and this God, and that God, and this person, and this culture. And then we're all fighting, and my God is better than your God, and let's fight. Right? Spirituality Olympics. Whose God's the best? Whose God gets the gold medal? Which group? So we use God as a measuring stick for our own self-esteem. My culture is better than yours, yours is better than mine. So the king said, all right, tell me, who is this God you're talking about? Where is this God you're talking about? What is he doing? If you can't prove it to me, then this is bogus. Right? Sometimes you have to give some chili powder in the food. Right? So he's doing this. Some spice to bring out, like our Guru would say, if you want to get the honey out of a bee's nest, what do? Poke it with a stick. And some honey will drop. Where is God? What is he doing? If you can't answer this, then you're a useless minister, useless advisor. Okay. So everyone was thinking, oh, what to do? The next day they came, they tried to give some, this is useless. He didn't appreciate any of it. Oh, there's God in the temple. Yeah, but if he's God in the temple, then why isn't he moving and doing anything? He's just like a statue. God in the temple. No, God is this, God is that. He wasn't happy with anything. So he had his favorite minister, and he said, you can at least answer me. And the minister was a little perplexed. He said, if you can't answer me, what is God doing now, and where is God, then I'm going to kill you. I'll give you 2 days. So the minister went home. The first day, it was really stressful. Why? Pressure's on. Imagine, he doesn't know if the king will be happy. They've already tried other answers. Oh, there's God, worship God, he'll come, he'll give you boons. The first day he was really kind of stressed out, pacing back and forth, and he had a young boy, like a 6-year-old son. And he saw Papa came home, and normally Papa comes home and plays. Today Papa, hey, I have no time to play. This is a life or death situation. If I don't live today, tomorrow, then how will I play with you in a week? Life or death situation. What's the problem, Papa? How do you would not be able to understand? So the next day, stayed home also, didn't have an idea. Stressing back and forth, back and forth. The next morning he had to go to the court and tell the king, where is God? What is he doing? So finally, the boy was asking, Papa, what is the problem? Papa, tell me, Papa, tell me. So father said, all right, I'll tell you, sit down. The king has asked me, where is God? And what is he doing? And if you can't give me a good answer, I'm going to kill you. And the boy said, Papa, this is such an easy question. This is an easy one. The father was like, huh? So tell me. He said, no. Take me to the court tomorrow, and I will answer, and then you'll see how smart you are, Papa, because I could answer. Then you'll show him. Right? You'd imagine, little boy, like your age. I'll answer. Imagine the big kingdom, royal assembly. The boy was very wise and very courageous, had courage. He wanted to help Papa. How do you say Papa in Lithuania? Dietas. Okay, Mama?
Mama.
Okay, good, Mama. I learned a word. Good. Tietas.
Almost.
Okay, almost. Okay, good. So the next day, he said, don't worry, I know it'll be fine. Anyway, if I answer and he's not happy, he's not going to kill me, I'm just a boy. And then he'll give you another try or something, perhaps. Father didn't know any answer. He said, okay, what do you know, he trusted God and he prayed and he said, okay, let me try. So the next day they came into the courtroom. And the Pandit Ji, what we call a sage or wise man in India, Pandit. Pandit Ji came with Pandit ka bacha. Pandit's son. The king said, oh, today you brought your son, very nice. The minister said, I've been thinking about it, because everyone else had answered and hadn't given a good answer that he was happy with. So he was the last one, the best one, the crown jewel. Said, actually, this is a very easy question, easy answer. So my son will answer. The king was like, what? Your son? Haji, my son. Okay. Right? Sometimes you learn something from unexpected places. So this was the first lesson, right? Be open to learning from unexpected places. And what does it mean to learn? To learn means to learn something you don't know. Otherwise, how are you learning? That means be open to experience. And don't just judge everything by your preconceived knowledge. Thank you for coming, Panditji. Hare Krishna. Namaste. Be open. Openness. Then you can grow. Otherwise, if you just filter everything by what you already know, then you will never grow. So it means don't be too attached to your own so-called knowledge unless you're fully realized and you're fully happy. Some people say, I don't want to suffer. Are you suffering? Yes, I'm suffering. You don't want to suffer? Yes, I don't want to suffer. Okay, and then you discuss with them how not to suffer. No, I don't agree with that, I don't agree with that, I don't agree with that. I know everything already. This philosopher said this person said this. I know everything already. But if you knew everything already, why are you suffering? You already said you don't want to suffer. So if you knew everything already, if everything was perfect, then why would you be suffering? If you knew everything, then don't suffer. You'd know how not to suffer. So therefore we become open to learning. So the boy came forward. The king was sitting on a big throne. Right? King is very proud. Many steps. And then a royal throne. The boy was like, it's like, oh king, it's hurting my neck looking up at you trying to talk. Just a little boy. Right? You imagine you're standing, sitting up at the king up there. So you want to learn, right? The boy said. King said yes. King is a little smiley now. So the boy said, all right, if you're learning from a teacher, the etiquette is that you don't sit on such a big high seat. You ever go to school? And right, teacher's way up, like the students so high up in the stadium and the teacher's down. In university we have like that, right? Stadiums. Professors. So the boy said, "Oh king, you should sit down and I should sit on the throne." Imagine the audacity. This is what the boy said. "You come sit on the ground, oh king, and I'll sit up there and I'll give some teaching." So at first the king was like, what's he gonna say? Okay, no problem. You're a Brahmin teacher. So the king came down and everyone was like, all the servants, where are we gonna get? So they quickly ran and brought him a seat. You know, chair. Okay, king will sit. You imagine the father of the boy is like shaking. What's gonna happen? What's the boy gonna say? The boy wouldn't tell him. So the boy, little boy, climbed up the big steps. Each step like this. Ooh. 1, 2, 3. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And he sat on the throne, but he was like a little boy, and the king was big. So like, you imagine he put his feet down, and his feet were like swinging, not touching the ground. It was like a huge throne, little boy. And he was sitting there and kind of swinging his feet back and forth, smiling. Okay, now the question. Okay, you did this, the king said. Now you better tell me right. Where's God? What is he doing? The boy said, all right, you want to know where God is? Let's do an experiment. Right? Because you're not really ready to hear, oh, this or that, some knowledge, that knowledge. You're resistant to it. So let's do a scientific experiment. Everyone likes science. Anyone here like science, right? Science, yeah. Science. Science, let's prove God with science. Okay, scientific experiment. The boy said, bring a big pot. How big? That big? No, the boy said, that big. The boy said, bring a big pot. The king said, how big? That big. Little boy. But the boy said, actually bigger than that big. More big, more big. He brought like this, like this, like this, big pot. Like Masters of Compote. And he said, bring milk. Bring milk. Right? Fill the pot up with milk. Right? The pot filled up with milk. And he said, no light skim milk. Full cream milk. Right? I would say in Lithuanian, full cream. Yeah, full cream. We can scoot up a little bit, please. Alright, thank you for your attention. Bear with me a little bit, I promise. We get to dance afterwards. And then we have tea and cookies. Fill the pot up with milk, full cream milk. It was nicely mixed and just beautiful white milk. So the boy asked, is there butter in this milk? Is there?
Not yet.
Not yet? What does that mean, not yet?
You have to make.
Butter is in the milk.
Okay.
No? No butter in the milk?
Yeah, there is.
Yes, there is butter in the milk. How? Process, but it's present. So butter is in the milk. Everyone knows, nice creamy milk. Butter in the milk. There's a process to see the milk, the butter in the milk. You can't see it. Right? Big, nice yellow butter. But it's in the milk. So the boy said, this is God, where he is. He's in the milk as the butter. In this world, he's there. But you have to follow a process to see him. You want to see the butter? Follow the process. right. Right? Follow the process. Take that with anything. Right? You want to see something very profound? Takes time. Takes a process. Boil the milk. Make it yogurt. Churn the milk. Nice butter. Right? So he said, this is where God is in this world. So this is related to this world. In the Gita, Krishna says, everything that is rests upon me, the absolute supreme consciousness, spirit, absolute truth. It's called Advaya Gyan Paratattva, the non-dual absolute truth, which is supreme consciousness. It is present within everything. Where is the milk? Where is the butter in the milk? Everywhere in the milk. That's why God is everywhere in this world. Where is the butter in the milk? Everywhere. In every part of the milk, the butter is present. But you have to follow a process to see it, to bring it out. To bring out the form of the butter. From formlessness to form, follow a process. The king thought for a second, started to smile. He said, everybody, let's give a round of applause for the boy. Good job. Imagine the father was sweating pearls. He took his shot and went. Good. So the king said, all right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. I want to learn the process to see him. I want to learn the process to see him now. Still, tell me. Second question. What was the second question? What is he doing? What is God doing right now? So this is an interesting answer, and we want to talk about this a bit tonight. There's the short answer and the elaborate answer. Start with the short answer. What is God doing now? Why? The king wanted to know in relation to this world. First realization of God is in relation to this world. As it develops, you understand that I am not just the center of everything and there is something beyond me. And so then you can open your mind to the experience of something beyond what you know. But first, the boy told the king about knowledge that he could understand in relation to him, what he could know. What do we know right now? How much knowledge do we have? Do we know what's going on in a star when we look up at the stars at night? If I were to say, what's going on over there at that star? We don't know. How many universes are there? We don't know. How many planets are there where there's life? We don't know. We don't know, we don't know, we don't know. What's the beginning of knowledge? That I don't know. Acceptance that my knowledge is finite, limited. So become open to learning. If you look at the great scientists and philosophers, they would say, Newton had a famous saying, Isaac Newton, we're standing on the shore of meaning, the ocean of meaning, and we're looking out, and it's endless, and we're just identifying a few drops, this and that. But we know very little. We know very little. So the king asked, what is God doing? All right. Anybody have any answers? What is God doing now? What? Dancing. Yes, good. Thank you, Marjorie. Dancing. God is dancing. Right? I can agree with that. God is always dancing. In the Vedic scriptures, it said that every second, every moment, God appears somewhere and he's dancing. Right? It's life. If you look at the bottom level of all existence, it's in motion, it's dancing. Right? Life right now, even if we're not moving, within us everything is moving. Every molecule, every cell, every atom, it's in motion. If you go down to quantum physics, it's all in motion. God is motion, God is activity, God is dance. ecstasy, like this song. Right? It's a dance. God is dancing. It's moving. So the boy said, you know what God is doing? I'll tell you what he's doing in his world, but you won't accept because you are proud. So I'll tell you what he's doing in this world first. He's making the king sit down on the ground. And he's putting me up on the throne. That's what God's doing. He's making you sit down there and listen to me, a little boy. That's what God's doing. The king was, wow, interesting answer. This is called the cycle of samsara. One day a king, next day a student. In life, we're always in motion, always moving. How long are we living? The boy said this is called samsara. Anyone heard the word samsara before? Samsara. Samsara means like an ocean. Ocean of what? Transformation, change. Changing states. One day, we're a king, like a dream. And then we wake up, another life. And what are we now? A beggar. Then we wake up and we fall asleep, another life. And now we're something else. So we're always changing. He said this is what God is doing. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yantra Rudrani Mayaya. What are we doing? We are moving on the wheel of material nature. It's called the matrix. In the dream state of life. Waiting to find out who are we really? Who we really are. The king was very happy. Success. He said, very good. The boy began to explain, what is consciousness? And what is God? And then I'm going to get to your question. Your question was, he asked the question, your name again?
Why we are chanting these statues.
Yeah, why are we singing and chanting here in front of these different statues? Good. If you look at life right now, welcome, Jatin. You can come sit up here, lots of space. Pravachan Guru. What is form? I want to talk about this for a bit. Because the boy explained God in a way that we could understand in terms of like the idea of God without form. Because that's generally how we think of God. God means some like force, something that's making things happen. But to understand God in his actual nature, form, oh, I don't believe this is too much. No. So let me ask you something as an experiment. Tell me something now that doesn't have form. From any teaching you've gotten, any teacher you've had, any tradition. Tell me a tradition that teaches formlessness where the teacher didn't have a form. Anybody know? Where is there a tradition that teaches formlessness where the teacher didn't have a form? Any? The words we're speaking, if they didn't have form, it would just be like... Words have form. Why? They have a beginning and an end. They have some... They're compact. They're like a packet of information. Everything has form. The universe, is it formless or does it have form? The universe. The universe has form. Everything within it has form. So does God have form? You say, okay, God's the universe, then God has form. Now the question is, if we define God as consciousness, the question comes, does consciousness have form? Show me consciousness without form. Anybody? Show me consciousness without form. Nothing? Everything has form. Consciousness You could say in this world, consciousness is not form, but it takes on form. All forms. And what do we do with those forms? We worship them. We worship those forms. Do you have a form?
Yep.
What do you do in the morning?
Getting up.
You get up, then what?
Then doing some jogging.
Jogging, okay then?
Then two circles of japa.
Okay, good. 2
Yeah.
circles of japa, good.
Yeah, cold shower.
Cold shower, very good. Then?
And then I'm going to eat.
Good. Okay, so we woke up, we did exercise, we did some meditation, some chant, some mantra, and shower and eating. This is called idolatry. Why are you worshipping this idol? Exercising the body, so the body is healthy. Feeding the body, so the body is alive.
Yeah.
Sleeping with the body. It's all idolatry.
Yeah.
You perform idolatry every day, all day. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just truth. We worship our bodies our whole life. Body gets sick, take it to the doctor, take some medicine. Right? We're all worshiping our bodies. Nothing wrong with that. It's necessary. We wouldn't be alive without taking care of the body. Right? So whether we like it or not, we're worshiping form. We're all worshiping form. But God can't have a form. Only I have a form. That means I am greater than God. Your consciousness takes form because that's how it lives. Your consciousness accepts form. And your consciousness is never, whenever your consciousness is without form, it's searching for form. Right? Birth and death. When you die, you leave this body and then you think, I need a new body. You go body shopping. Go to the mall. What kind of body do I want? Man body, woman body, dog body, cat body, tree body, grass body. What kind of body do I want? Spirit body. Still called a subtle body. The mind and the ego is described to be a subtle body because consciousness likes form. Consciousness takes on form. It's called the embodied spirit. The embodied spirit. In the second chapter of the Gita, verse 12, 13, and so forth, Krishna talks about the nature of the self in its embodied state. Dehinosminyata dehe komaram yovanam jara tatade hantara praptir dirastatrana muyati. Just like a boy grows up to be a man, to become old and then dies. In the same way, the soul or the self or the consciousness transfers from one state to another state until it achieves a different body. And then the example is given of clothes. You wear these clothes now. When the clothes get old and worn and you wash them and they just start fraying and breaking apart. Right? You ever had a pair of clothes? It's like, all right, it's time to get a new pair. At a certain point. Then what do? You exchange the old clothes for new clothes. That's called death and rebirth. In the wheel of samsara, that's what God's doing. We're being born and dying and taking on new form. Samsara, and the cycle of samsara. So the question is now, how do we get out? How do we get a better form? Krishna says in the Gita, the spirit or the soul or consciousness, as you like to call it, it never perishes. It forever abides. It's imperishable. While the body changes, the soul does not change. Consciousness prevails. Matter cannot be destroyed. Why could consciousness be destroyed? If you take matter and you try to destroy it, what does it do? It just produces some other form. Matter is always changing one form to another form. Your body, all the form of the elements in the body now, what will happen is when it deteriorates, they'll all go and collect and make a new body. That's like gravity even. What is the idea of gravity? Attraction. Attraction until it achieves form. Consciousness without form is not happy. Right? You look at the Big Bang, what? Everything is flying around until it becomes in form. the earth, the sun, the planets, it's all seeking form. And so everything in this existence wants form. But God doesn't have a form. We get a form, everyone gets a form, only God doesn't get a form. Does that make sense? What does it say in the Bible? Yes. That's okay. God doesn't have material form. This is what's said in the Sastra. Papani pado gravala. He is walking without feet. He is seeing without eyes. He's moving without hands or feet. What does that mean? Nirgun means no material form. No material form. And the soul, which is consciousness, also in the actual purest state, also has no material form. Because material form is lesser energy. And so the soul or consciousness, which is a higher energy, is not meant to be stuck in material form and temporary reality of samsara. That's why we're always lamenting and seeking and yearning. Why? I know there's something wrong. I know there's something more, and I'm yearning for it. I make relationships in this world, and then what happens? No matter how hard I try to cling to those relationships, I'm attached to those relationships, what happens? We're forcefully separated by the influence of time. And yet consciousness is always abiding. Consciousness is described to be this force pervading the body. When the body is lost, we achieve another form. So now we come to the topic of the form of God. In the Bhagavad Gita, actually the Bhagavatam, there's 4 important verses. He talks about the nature of the form of God. What is the nature of the form of God? Yata mahanti bhutani bhutesu chavacheshvanu pravishtanya pravishtani tata teshuna teshvaham. 3rd verse, Chatusloki Bhagavatam. Goes back to the story of the boy and the king. That which pervades everything, and yet which is separate from everything, that is God. God is not just the butter and the milk, He is beyond. He is the source of the milk, He is the source of the pot, He is the source of the boy, the king, the kingdom, everything. That which pervades everything, and is within everything, and also, aparvishtani, beyond everything, that is God. Everything is coming and emanating from Him, but He is yet beyond everything, and separate from everything. Now we could say, what is illusion? What is Maya? It's another important verse. Wherever you look and you don't see God, that is illusion. In other words, it's based on your perception. Because He's everywhere. He already established He's everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, everything comes from me. Mata sarvang pravartate, those who understand this, they worship me, they develop relation with me, they come to me. So if you look in the world now, your body and all bodies, they're all expansion of the energy of God. There is nothing but God. And yet, because you have turned away, your consciousness has turned away, because of the desire to be separate and to enjoy separately as God, then you say, no, I have form, my form is God, I'm going to worship my form all day, but God certainly can't have a form. Why? If God has a form, then I have to serve His form. I have to develop relationship with Him. I want to worship my form. I have a form, let me bathe it and feed it, exercise it, and enjoy with it, and have family with it. But God can't have family, God can't have form, God can't enjoy, God can't do anything. Only I get it. I want to be God. It's said that the root reason for existence in material nature is our desire. Yes, you want to enjoy like me, you want to play like me, yes, take a world, have it. Whatever you like, you can try to fulfill it. He gives you the right to fulfill any of your desires. Life starts like that. If you look at the life at the beginning of the universe, the soul enters the universe and is like a god. Lord Brahma. I am creating everything and making this and making that. Oh, I am God. And then everything starts breaking down. People start fighting. One person kills another person. One person fights. And, oh no, I better make a law book. Don't do this, don't do this. They still don't do what you want. They're all fighting and fighting and fighting. Oh, not that good at this. And then things break down and entropy, degrade and degrade. So we tried our best to be God, but it's not working. So let's try something better. Consciousness is described, the finite consciousness is like a spark of the infinite. In connection with the infinite, which is called yoga, connection with God, the infinite and the finite in connection. How? Through love and devotion, through relationship. Relationship is the binding force holding you together. So through that relationship with God, then you become godly and you can enjoy like Him. Not in this world of matter where you're always in the onslaught of suffering. We're always suffering because we're not properly situated in our dharma. Therefore we're suffering. So now why do we worship the forms? Is this God? God says, I am everywhere and within everything. Those who love me develop relationship with me, and therefore they reciprocate with me in form, because that's how they can understand me. You can also approach God as the formless, but then it's devoid of love and sweetness. So it's a very difficult path. In the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, you're going to try to approach me in my existence like, oh, I'm everywhere, I'm in everything, like the butter and the milk. But there's no sweetness, there's no relationship there. Who said, easier path to approach me is in form. And in that way you can approach me in my transcendental abode beyond this material realm. God is also infinite. He is all space, all time, all matter, everything. Just like the universe, but the universe also has form. So God is also the supreme consciousness. We are the finite consciousness. Finite consciousness accepts form. Infinite consciousness doesn't accept form. He accepts infinite form. Why? We're doing it, He won't do it. Bible says God made man in His image. Quran says, Inala kalakame surantihi. The infinite, the Creator, created man in His own image. So the finite consciousness accepts form, but infinite consciousness can't have form. That's all our desire to be separate, so we don't want to accept any form. And we don't want to worship and serve and have relationships. We just serve and worship this body. This is idolatry. So now the question comes of sadhana, the process to develop that relationship in love and bhakti. One time Lord Krishna was speaking with his dear friend Uddhava. Get to the point here. Speaking with Uddhava, Krishna appeared. It's described that Manushyam Deham Ashritam. God appeared in form out of His mercy to display His sweetness, to attract us to His realm, His reality. Right? Like I described before, if you look at potential and you look at energy and matter, it's all accumulating until it shapes a form. The earth is a form. Before it's all just disintegrated parts of matter, but it takes form. So why? Because it's described that reality is like a tree. There's the reflection of the tree and there's the source of the tree. Imagine a tree on the bank of a river and its reflection is in the water. The reflection of the tree in the water indicates the nature of the tree on the bank. So what are we? If we were like the reflection, that means the source must have some form. But from a very great distance, we can't see it. We can't appreciate it. It's described to be murky, hazy, indefinite. As we come closer to reality, then we can start to see it. So there's an important verse that we follow that is the basis of why we do the worship here. It's not for His sake that we worship Him. It's for our sake, to develop relationship, to develop love. That love that will pull us beyond this time and space and material existence, samsara. That's the power of love. Love has the power to transfer consciousness to what it's attracted to. Right? If you love someone very deeply and you're always thinking of them, then you're increasing the odds of being with them. So what we do is we love and we think of God, and as described in the scripture, the nature of His form. But you cannot see it without pure love. That's why we follow the process of devotion. Bhakti, singing, dancing, praying. There's a beautiful verse in the Brahma Samhita, spoken by Brahma, the Creator God, worshipping the Supreme God. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena shanta sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam sham sundaram achintya gunaswarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. When he, through trance, meditation, samadhi, when the yogis do meditation, someone the other day I was saying, tell me a time that you were happy without connection to something separate from yourself. Tell me a time you were happy. I was doing meditation. The yogis achieve bliss within when they realize the super soul. Right? Unity. Yoga means unity. So I did yoga. Yoga means union. You cannot have union without duality. So unity comes from duality. That means there's still duality within unity. Right? And we give the example of folding hands. One hand, another hand. You bring them together, two hands as one. In union, that's yoga. The soul and God together. So you still have connection. So when you achieve bliss by yoga, that's because the bliss from the super soul, the supreme self within you, which is described to be the self within the self, God and the soul. Right? We see the kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of God is within you. What does that mean? God is within you. But you are not God. You are the servant, or you are the beloved of God. You are present with Him. In the Sastra, Upanishad, what I was saying in the beginning, be open to the idea. You don't have to accept, but understand the philosophy. In the Upanishad, it's stated, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yogridati Kaman. God is the one from whom come the many. Nityo Nityanam. God is eternal, we are eternal, because we are from Him. As we are eternal, God is eternal. As He is eternal, we are eternal. We do not exist without Him. As the fire goes up to the sun, if you light a candle, it goes up. Right? So the soul in the same way is endeavoring to go upwards. Conscious evolution towards God. Nitya Nityanam Chetanas. The one conscious entity expands into the infinite conscious entities. They're all parts of the supreme whole. Like particles of light connected to the sun. That is the soul in relation to God. So how do you understand and perceive it? The boy said that God is the butter in the milk. What's the process to see God or the butter in the milk? Right? If it's milk, then what do? We boil it, we churn it. It's a process. That's called a sadhana. The process to see God is Prem Anjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. The best way is through devotion or love. Because devotion or love is what attracts the consciousness beyond this material state. Whatever you focus on, you become like. In the Gita, Krishna says, Yanti deva vrata devan, yanti pitri vranti yak pitri vratata. Yanti deva vrata devan. Just transfer to a similar state. So therefore he says the best way to meditate upon God is with love, because love is the thing that draws your mind to something, draws your heart to something. Right? If you're thinking of God sometimes, but whoever you really love, that's who you're thinking about the most. And so if you think of how you're going to always think of God, you have to develop love. Premanjana, your eyes must be anointed with love. Learn to love God. Then you'll be able to see Him. That's the process. So how do you learn the process of love? It's a process. You have to develop it. Practice. Right? Sing. Dance. That's why we're sitting in front of the deities. We're singing about Him. We're hearing His qualities. We're remembering. And it's very attractive. That's why it's very beautiful. Flowers, this and that. Premanjana Trita Bhakti. When your eyes become anointed with the salve of pure love and devotion, then at the time of death, if you think of those you love at the time of death. So if you look at consciousness, it's said that consciousness transfers to another form at the time of death according to what it's focused on. So if you're focused on your wife, you become like your wife. It's said, this life we're a man, next life we're a woman. Last life we're a woman, this life we're a man. Or if you're thinking of this or thinking of that, whatever you're thinking of, you're very attached to your dog, and you're always thinking of your dog, my dog, my dog, my dog. And the last thing you see before you die is your dog. Your consciousness will transfer to that form. That's what consciousness does. So think of God and develop love for God, then you become godly. You become like Him, that Deva Deva Marchet. You achieve a transcendental form, Satchidananda Rupam. When we pray, we sing Namam Ishvaram Satchidananda Rupam. Oh Lord, I offer pranam to you. You are eternal. You are conscious. You are the form of bliss. I meditate upon you. Yam Shama Sundara. You are very beautiful. Who we worship here is called Shama Sundara. Very beautiful. If He is present everywhere, why can He also not adopt a form that we can make relationship with Him with? So He adopts a form that attracts our hearts so that we can develop love through the process of hearing, remembering, singing, worship, offering of prayers, developing a mood of friendship, developing a mood of service, surrendering the heart. Then we develop love. And by developing that love and cultivating it, if at the time of death we think of Him with love, we'll achieve a place near Him. That's called highest form of moksha. Swarupena vyavastati, achieving your spiritual form and identity. Real moksha, liberation, is what? Swarupena vyavastati, situated yourself in a transcendental form beyond matter. Just like his. Right? That's your highest calling. That's your highest swarup. That's what we're trying to achieve. So therefore we worship their form. He also appears and accepts that form that is very beautiful and attractive. God accepts all different forms, many forms, infinite forms. But this form is the attractive form that we can develop, accepts everyone. Eko bahunam, Krishna alone says, I'll accept everyone. Whoever you are, I accept you. As you are and as you become. He accepts everyone. That's the original. The all-attractive Lord of Sweetness, that is Krishna. So we worship according to the form described in our Vedic scriptures. So one time, Krishna was sitting with his friend Uddhava, and we'll stop in a couple of minutes. Tomorrow we're going to have a class in the morning, around 11:15, and we're going to talk about a very interesting topic as well. So if anyone's interested for more, we're going to talk about specifically the real form of the soul and its highest state, the topmost guru, which is Radharani, who Krishna worships, and Mahaprabhu. And the topic of, you could say it's a very interesting topic these days, what is a woman? Right? What is the nature of a woman or a man? But in the highest sense, right? Not just the body, but the spirit. Right? Because we're all arguing, oh, this is a woman, that is a woman, this is not, this is not. No, but in the spiritual reality, what is the body, what is the consciousness? Consciousness is higher than the body. That's why some people say, no. If you feel like a woman, you're a woman. Doesn't matter what body you're in. Right? The body has its reality. The consciousness has its reality. They're separate things. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And we're going to talk more specifically about Radharani and the perfection of devotion and love. How you can, in life, we're all looking for love. We're all looking for love. From the time we're born to the time we die. From our parents, we're looking for love. From our friends, we're looking for love. From our romantic partners, we all want love, 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 love. It's described that love is the sweetest word. Why? Everyone wants love. Why? Because the nature of God is love. The nature of the soul is love. So we're seeking that love. That love is called Ananda, bliss. So why can't we have that love for God? If that is the nature of the soul in its highest state. You don't have to. Yes, love whatever you like. But you do love. And you're seeking love. So you can also have that love and relationship with God. And so Krishna told Uddhava, Krishna said, I'm leaving to my abode, my eternal dham. Satyam param dhimahi. First knowledge of God is everything. God is the universe. God is action, reaction. God is time. God is space. God is everything. But then he says the higher knowledge of God is gone beyond, God beyond time and space. God beyond matter. God beyond energy. God in his original form beyond all of this. Maya. Beyond Maya. Maya is described to be like the shadow that we are living in. Truth is the substance, that is God and the soul, in its highest state. We are not meant to be bound in samsara, we're meant to transcend it. So therefore it's described that Krishna told Uddhava, when I'm gone, you should make my deity. Make my deity, my idol, my statue, and worship it with love. Develop relationship of love, and that way you'll never be far away from me. And when you leave this body, you'll come to my eternal abode. Why? Because if you meditate upon me in this form and sing my name, which is the highest practice, ultimately, if we're not chanting, it's that the name of God is non-different from the form of God. Nam, Rup. By meditating on the name of God, we achieve the presence of the form of the Lord, darshan. So the chanting of the name is the most important. But without the form, then it's impersonal. Like I said, Buddha taught non-form. But he had a form to teach it. And we had a form to hear it. So show me something that doesn't have form. You can't. Oh, an idea. Idea has to have form because you're speaking it. An apple has form. An emotion, love. In the Vedic thought, even the emotions were created as form. He created envy and wrath and this and that. It all, the sun, the earth, it's all form. So there is formlessness, but even that has form. Everything that is. Right? It's just a way of saying universalism. But it all, if you look at specifically everything, it all has form. So God also accepts form to have relationship of love. Without relationship, without form, you can't have unity of relationship. So you also, but he said that his form is transcendental, non-different from his consciousness. It's pure form. Achintya guna swarupa. And it's inconceivable without developing pure love and seeing it for yourself. Without seeing it, you can't develop perfect realization of it. So you see it, and you develop connection to it. So we'll stop here. But the best way is, he said, you can create that form. Through metal, through wood, through a painting. Create that form and develop relationship with me through that. Yang vapi smaram bhavam tejatyante kalevaram tamitamivaiti kuntya saratad bhava bhavita. Whatever you contemplate at the time of death, your consciousness will transfer to that type of state. So we meditate upon Krishna, we sing his names, we worship, we pray, we develop love, so that at the time of leaving this body, we go to a state of his eternal abode. And in this life, we live blissfully, happily amongst devotees, practicing in a blissful life, taking foodstuff, prasad, making our life auspicious, singing, serving others. We're not just interested in liberation. Actually, we're interested in serving in this life. But what is the reward we seek? His love and relationship with him. That's all we seek as our reward. Prem dhanavina vyarta daridra jivan. We worship the form to develop love for him in his eternal form. That's why. To develop eternal relationship and pure love. By chanting the name, there's 5 very important limbs of practice. To chant or to sing, to hear the glories from a saintly person, right? To live in a holy place or with good people, a good environment, right? And to take shelter of the form and worship the form. That's our process. To hear Bhagavat Shravan, to sing or to chant or to do japa, meditation, to worship the deity, to live in a holy place, and to be with good association. Those are the 5 most important limbs. So by doing this, our consciousness this time, during this life will be blissful. It said by chanting the names, which are non-different from the form, then our life very quickly becomes blissful. We realize our true nature. 7 excellent results. Chanting the name, which is the most important practice, what we're going to do now after this. Right? We're going to sing and we're going to dance. So we're chanting the names and it's blissful. The path is blissful, the goal is blissful. Everything is blissful. And the Bhagavad Gita says, Brahmarpanam, Brahmabhavir. The yajna is the spirit. The practitioner is the spirit. Everything becomes embodied by the spirit when we're serving the spirit. Everything becomes spiritual if we're serving the spirit with every action. Yat karoshi rasnashi jahosi rasya dittapasyasi kuntya tat kuru svamadharpanam. Offer everything to me. Everything becomes spiritualized and auspicious. So why we sing is because we're calling out with love and devotion, please accept me. But when we chant, then 7 excellent results occur. We realize our true nature. All suffering is eradicated. Good fortune blossoms in our life. All knowledge is realized. All transcendental knowledge is awakened. We start to experience bliss ever increasing in our life. At every step we taste immortal nectar. And we become completely cleansed, free completely of any contamination of false ego. These are the excellent results of doing what we're about to do, chanting and singing together, blissfully with devotion. We sing together with devotion and develop this relationship. So thank you so much for your patience and your time. Hope to see you again tomorrow.